All right, welcome everyone to another deep dive.
Yeah, excited for this one.
This time we're going to be tackling a pretty huge moment. Yeah, a real turning point, the division of the kingdom of Israel.
Yeah, lots to unpack here.
Oh yeah, we're going to try to figure out, what led to this split, who were the big players,
Right.
and what happened immediately after, the kind of immediate fallout.
Yeah, and we're going to be relying primarily on the accounts in 1 Kings for this one,
Okay,
specifically chapters 11, 12, and 14.
gotcha.
We're drawing from this resource we have called Lesson 43, The Kingdom of Israel Divided.
All right, so this wasn't just like, poof, overnight, there's two kingdoms now.
Yeah, no, it's not.
And it's more complicated than that.
Not a clean break, right?
Right. So it seems like things were kind of brewing for a while, especially with King Solomon, like some of the choices he made later in his reign.
Yeah, I mean, the narrative really points to Solomon's actions as a catalyst for this whole thing.
Yeah.
Despite all his wisdom and the blessings and all that, he starts going down this road of worshiping other gods.
Oh, wow.
Like we're talking Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians, Chemosh, the god of Moab, and Milcom, the god of the Ammonites, like all these deities from surrounding nations.
So specific.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting, right? It's not just this vague drifting away. It's like very specific acts of worship towards these gods.
Wow. And of course, like we see in 1 Kings 11:11-13, actions have consequences, right?
Absolutely. The Lord's not messing around here, right? He's making it clear that because Solomon strayed from the covenant, didn't keep the statutes, the kingdom's going to be ripped away from him.
Oh, wow.
And given to someone else, one of his servants.
Wow, that's
But big but, right? It says out of respect for David, his father, this wouldn't happen during Solomon's lifetime.
Oh, okay. So like delayed consequence.
Right. Judgment deferred.
Interesting. And it also mentions that like Solomon's descendants wouldn't lose everything, right? They would still have like one tribe, plus Judah had already kind of absorbed Benjamin.
Exactly. That's super important because that's the foundation for the southern kingdom of Judah, right?
Okay.
Which stayed connected to David's line and Jerusalem, the city.
Gotcha. And this is where Jeroboam comes in, right?
Jeroboam, yes, son of Nebat.
Son of Nebat. He's from Ephraim.
And
like a real go-getter, like Solomon put him in charge of, I don't know if this is a good job or bad job, all the forced labor from the house of Joseph.
Oh, man. Forced labor. That's that's a tough one. But it definitely put him into position of,
A power.
Power, yeah, visibility among the people.
Right. And so this is where the prophet Ahijah pops up.
Ahijah, yeah.
And this is such a crazy image to me. Like, in front of Jeroboam, he takes this new cloak, tears it into 12 pieces.
1 Kings 11.2931. You can picture it.
Oh, I'm trying to picture it.
Right. Like,
Whoa,
that's a lot of pieces.
12 pieces, 12 tribes.
Exactly. And he gives 10 of those pieces to Jeroboam.
Wow.
That's not subtle, right?
Not subtle at all. That's pretty in your face.
It's a straight up prophecy.
Yeah.
The kingdom's going to be divided. Jeroboam, you're going to rule the 10 northern tribes.
Wow. And then just to like really drive it home, 1 Kings 11.33 is like, here's why this is happening. The people, they followed Solomon's lead and ditched God.
Right. They're worshiping idols.
Worshiping idols, it's like their national stability was totally tied to their beliefs.
Completely, yeah. Intertwined.
Wow. But Solomon's not too happy about this whole prophecy thing, is he?
He was not pleased. Tried to kill Jeroboam.
Oh, jeez.
So Jeroboam's like, all right, peace out. I'm going to Egypt.
Right. Exile, probably thought he'd never come back.
Probably.
But then Solomon dies and Rehoboam, his son, takes over.
Here we go.
And this is where things really heat up.
Yeah, it all comes to a head.
Rehoboam goes to Shechem to be crowned king.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's there, all of Israel except Judah.
Except Judah, that's key, right? There's already some tension there.
Yeah, like they're not totally on board.
Right. And remember Shechem, that's not just any random city. That's where they made covenants.
Oh, yeah, stored
Deep historical roots.
Right, the place where they were like, yeah, we're in this together.
Exactly. So now Jeroboam hears Solomon's gone, and he's like, all right, time to head back from Egypt. 1 Kings 12.2.
Oh, man.
All the players on the scene now.
It's all happening. Everyone's in Shechem, and they're like, okay, Rehoboam,
yeah,
here's what we want.
Yeah, they lay it all out for him.
This must have been a big ask, right? Because it causes like this huge reaction.
It's a big one. They're basically like, yo, your dad Solomon, he really laid it on thick with the taxes and the forced labor. It's been rough. 1 Kings 12.4.
Right. So they're like, can you ease up on us a bit?
Exactly. They're looking for some relief. They're looking for some change.
And this is Rehoboam's chance to be like, okay, I hear you. I'm a different kind of leader.
Right. A fresh start.
But that's not what happens.
Not at all. He goes the opposite direction.
Oh,
The older advisors, the wise guys, they're like, hey, listen to the people. Ease up a little bit. You'll gain their loyalty. But he's like, nah.
he doesn't want to hear it.
He listened to his buddies, the younger guys who are all about power. They're like, show him who's boss. Crack down even harder.
Oh, no. Classic mistake.
Classic. And his response, 1 Kings 12:13, it's dripping with arrogance. Basically telling them, my little finger is thicker than my father's waist. You think his yoke was heavy? Get ready for mine.
Oof, that's brutal.
He basically told them, I'm going to be worse than my dad.
Wow, I can only imagine the people must have been so disappointed, angry.
They were done. They'd had enough.
And they let him know it. It's like he gave them no other option.
Yeah, they're like, we're out. We're done with David's line. Back to our tents, Israel. 1 Kings 12:16.
Dear tents, O Israel.
Mic drop moment.
It's over.
Kingdoms divided. Right then and there.
And the text is super clear. Only Judah sticks with Rehoboam.
One tribe, that's all he's got left.
Wow, from ruling everything to basically just one tribe.
Yeah. Tough break.
Talk about downsizing.
So then all the other tribes, they hear that Jeroboam's back.
Oh, yeah, he's back from exile.
And they're like, he's our guy.
Oh, wow.
They make him king in Shechem. 1 Kings 12:20.
So it's official now, 2 kingdoms.
Yeah, the north is Israel with Jeroboam.
And the south is Judah with Rehoboam.
And Rehoboam, he hightails it back to Jerusalem. That's his last bit of power.
Right, his stronghold, his last little bit of territory.
Exactly. And Jeroboam, he's a smart guy. He knows he's got to solidify his position. He's got to create a separate identity for the north.
Right, because they could easily just be like, we'll go back to Jerusalem. That's where the temple is.
Exactly. That was his big worry.
Right, so he's got to do something drastic.
He does. First, he starts building stuff in Shechem and Penuel.
Okay, like fortresses, administrative buildings, showing his control.
Exactly. Making his mark. But the big move, the really game-changing move, is the alternative worship sites.
Right, this is where the golden calves come in.
Golden calves, yeah.
This is a bold move.
It is. He basically tells the people, look, you've been going to Jerusalem long enough. We've got our own gods now, the ones who brought you out of Egypt, remember? And then, boom, golden calf in Bethel in the south, another one in Dan in the north, 1 Kings 12:28-29.
Whoa, golden calves. Like, what are you doing, Jeroboam? This is a little too on the nose.
Right. It's like he's trying to recreate that whole Mount Sinai moment.
Right after the Exodus, that's a pretty loaded image.
Yeah, it's not subtle.
Not subtle at all. And the text straight up calls this a huge sin, a big mistake.
Big mistake, yeah. The people start going to these new places to worship instead of going to Jerusalem.
And it doesn't stop there. Jeroboam just keeps going. Temples on high places, which, those were usually associated with pagan worship.
He's really breaking with tradition here.
Right, and appointing priests who aren't even Levites.
Totally against the rules.
And he even messes with the timing of their major festivals. Like, he's rewriting the whole religious playbook.
He's crafting a new religious identity for the north, one that's separate from Jerusalem.
And obviously, God's not thrilled about any of this.
Nope, not at all. He sends a prophet to Jeroboam with a pretty harsh message, 1 Kings 14.
Oh boy, here comes the smackdown.
Basically, Jeroboam, you blew it. You didn't follow God like David. You chose idols. You messed everything up.
Ouch.
And it gets worse. The prophecy says all the male heirs in his family are going to be wiped out.
Whoa, that's a pretty serious consequence.
Serious consequences.
Okay.
And it doesn't end there. It says the entire nation of Israel could be scattered beyond the Euphrates because of their idol worship.
Wow, so they're going to be exiled.
Exiled because they followed Jeroboam down this path.
Man, what a mess. So the northern kingdom is really in trouble. What about Rehoboam in the south? Did Judah stay faithful?
You'd hope so, right? But no, 1 Kings 14:22-24, they're doing the same stuff.
Oh, no, seriously.
They're worshiping idols, high places, Asherah poles, even male cult prostitution.
Wow, they're like copying all the worst stuff from the pagan nations.
Yeah, it's ironic, right? The kingdom split over all this, and then they both end up doing the same bad things.
It's like, what was the point of it all? The nation's divided, they're both weaker, and they're both turning away from God. It's a real tragedy.
It is a profound tragedy. The northern kingdom, they go through 20 kings, not a single good one.
Wow, 0 for 20?
0 for 20. And they just keep getting worse with the idol worship.
Wow, what a downward spiral.
The south, Judah, they lasted longer, had some good kings mixed in with the bad ones.
Okay, so a little bit of hope there.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they fall into the same trap. Idolatry takes over.
So it's like a broken record. They just can't seem to break free from this cycle.
It's a cycle of disobedience and consequence.
So to sum it all up, Solomon's disobedience sets the stage, God's judgment is foretold, The kingdom splits under Rehoboam because of all the unrest and his bad leadership.
Hmm.
And then Jeroboam, he tries to secure his power in the north by creating this whole new religious system, but it backfires spectacularly.
It's a chain reaction of bad choices, each one leading to worse consequences.
And for you listening, think about this. When we ignore guidance, when we put our own desires above everything else, especially our faith,
Hmm.
things can fall apart. And not just for us, but for everyone around us.
It's a reminder that unity is fragile. We need leaders who are grounded in strong principles, who actually care about doing what's right.
Right. It makes you think about all the divisions we see today, not just in nations, but in communities, families, even within ourselves.
Exactly. What are the things we're holding on to that are dividing us? What are the principles we need to come back to?
Yeah, deep stuff to think about. Really makes you appreciate the importance of unity, of coming together around shared values, whether we're talking about ancient Israel or the world today.
It's a timeless lesson.
It really is. Well, that was a heavy one, the division of the Kingdom of Israel. A lot to process, but thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Always a pleasure. Until next time.
See you next time. Take care, everyone.